Now we're over on the passenger side. We're gonna get this cover off just like the other side. Before we do, we gotta get our door seal and our kick plate off. Now in this case, the seat belt, instead of going back in on the front, it connects right here. It uses a 13/16, same as up top on the outside, but you can use, there's a nut on the back side. You can use a 20mm wrench for that one. Pull that bolt off, and that's loose. Now you do have a wire connected that for your airbag system. So what you'll do is, just like on the other side, you're going to start on the front side. Now what you'll do is just pull your wire down right there, and then if you'll come over here, here's your clip, and it's got another one of those little red retaining clips that Chrysler's known to have. So you'll pop that out and then squeeze it, and then pop that out. And you have that done. Now what we'll do is we'll pull that screw out of the bottom, like so. Pull this out a little bit, feed our seat belt hardware through that top piece. Here. Once again, from the inside, push the top part of that trim out like that, and just kind of twist it so it goes through the hole. The only thing I have left to do over here is we have another one of those little trees in the carpet, same place as on the driver's side, that's in the floor next to the to your feet heater and to your floor. And once you do that, now here's my bolts. I'm going to go ahead and just feed that through. Put it back in over here, so now I know where everything is. Removing our door panel on the driver's side sliding door is actually a pretty easy process to do. So you have a screw that's located right down inside of here, and then you basically have a series of plastic anchors, if you will, that go around the perimeter of the door that hold it in. You also have a trim piece that goes up along here, and it goes over the top of your door trim, your door panel here. Your door panel goes over the top of your handle, so you don't have to worry about this side, but you do have this side. And basically all you'll do is you'll just kind of take your fingers and get them inside of there, and I'll put my thumb on the door panel, and if you pull on it, it'll pop right out like so. It's actually pretty easy, and now that side's free. Next up, take your screw out from inside your little handle here. Some of these actually had a ashtray, funny enough, inside of there. So now once you've done that, what I'll usually do just to kind of get things started is I'll come over here and just kind of start to pop it out a little bit. There we go, and that one's came out. Now I'll open up the door, and what I want to do, and I do that all the time, it's funny enough, but when you go to open your door, just watch your little piece there, push it back. So what I'll do is I'll start here down at the bottom. I have my door panel tool. I'm trying to stay out of your way, but I'll take that and I'll just kind of work that in there like so. Let me switch to my smaller one because it fits inside of there. There we go. Now I'll get my bigger trim panel tool in there and just start to pry that out. And then I'll drop that other tool. There you go. I'm not even going to edit that out. You're just going to see it. And so now that I have it out, you'll want to give it like a quick pull, like so. And now that it's started, you can just kind of work your way along the bottom, and you'll kind of feel where it's still catching, and you'll just pop it like so. You'll come up here on the side, just like that. Now this back side can be a bit more challenging to get to because you have the door there. We have one more there. Now we'll kind of pull them just like that on the top side, and the only thing you have left now is your door lock. Your knob is sticking through. You'll lift it up over that and pull your door panel out. So now these here are those retaining clips, and it's not uncommon, like you see here, for a few of them to stick inside the door. This one actually, they all came out except for that one, so we'll pull that one out of the door and put it back into the panel so it makes it easy for installation. And then, not sure if you'll be able to see this, but down inside of here is where that other screw is that's inside of there. So you have your door panel out, you can move on to the next step. We have it out of place, so let me flip it around here. So these here are little retainers. And it looks like all of them came out with the panel up, except for one. And actually it looks like that one, which would be right in here, is missing in general. So when we put this back in, we will put that in. And I'm sure this is missing because somebody's had this panel off before to replace that door lock actuator. So now you have your passenger side sliding door panel off. To remove our driver's door trim panel, what we're going to need to do is we have some screws along here. We're going to take out our control switch here for our windows so that we can disconnect the electrical. But basically you'll put that up underneath there, and you're just going to slowly start to pull this out from the bottom. And then as you do, you'll just kind of pull it down and work it back and forth. You don't want to break anything. Take your time. And I'm just going to work it like that, and now we have that piece out. Then what you'll do is you'll come in here and you'll see it has this red retaining clip right here, and you'll just push that off to the one side like you saw there, and then you'll just kind of work this out. It's kind of new. There we go. Let's see, next up we want to take out these two screws that we have here. Now normally you would find a screw that's also about right down in here, and I noticed that this one is actually missing that. So I'm not going to be taking that one out, but you'll keep an eye on it. So now we have all those kind of pieces taken out. What we're going to want to do is start to pry it out on the bottom. Now in this case I'm going to use my Lyle door trim tool because this is what it's designed to do. And I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm just going to work it kind of in at the edge, and you're probably not going to be able to, yeah, you will. And I'm just going to try and find a spot where I can work that in, and then what I'm going to do is start prying that out, because we have clips along the bottom, and once we pop those out and the ones along the side, then it will lift up and it will come right out. Now that we have that off, and you'll see now it's free, all you'll do is just lift it like so, and that comes off. Now you're going to have one last electrical, and that there is going to be for your door lock switch, and you'll just reach around behind and disconnect that, and then you have your door lock, or your door handle, I'm sorry, please excuse me. And with that, and let me pop this loose and I'll show you, but it's just a little retaining clip that goes on a rod there. So here's that rod that comes across right there. Here's your plug for your door lock, and all you'll do is you'll pull up on those little tabs right there, and then here's your rod for your door lock. Let me show you. So it goes into this little clip that you'll see right here. So what happens is your rod comes over and it comes up into that, and then this pushes on and locks to it. So to remove it, what you'll do is you pry this off of the rod like that, and then you pull the rod down, and then that way it's free and clear. And then here's your plug in for your door lock, and that just unplugs like so, and then you're done. Let's tackle this little plate here that's mounted underneath the gas pedal, or the accelerator if you want to be real technical. Now, I gotta be honest, sometimes these things can be a real nightmare to get out of the cars. And what happens is, because your feet are wet in the winter time and snow and that, these screws will rust out in here, and they can be a nightmare. Sometimes they'll come out easy, sometimes they are a nightmare. So I'm gonna try and use my impact driver here to get them out, and if not, it doesn't hurt to have a little stubby Phillips screwdriver so that you have an easier time getting around your accelerator. So let's see what happens here and see if we get lucky today. Well, hey, you know what? I will take that, because I'll tell you what, there are days I've spent probably 45 minutes trying to get these stupid things out. So once you get the 3 screws out of there, I may need to get one of my pry bars because it's just got corrosion from... There we go. Then that just comes out like that. So now we're going to work on the bottom part of our center console. Now somebody put an aftermarket deck in here, and this here is an iPod hookup, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that cable and kind of put it back up here in this storage tray. And to give us some better access, I'm going to go ahead and remove the cup holder, plus that way too I can take it out and clean it. Now you could use a straight screwdriver. Once again, I'm using my tool. You'll find a tab towards the back, and you'll just push that in and just keep pulling out. There's that tab right there, and now you have that out of the way. Now to remove this, you're going to have some different screws. You have 2 up here. You normally have one that's down below over here. You have one over here and one back here, and then directly opposite on the other side you'll have 1 screw over there. Now you'll just pull it straight forward like so, and that will give you access right here to your plug. It's back here, and you can actually sometimes pull your carpet up. There we go. So you have these 2 little retainers here. They also act as anchors for your screws for that trim piece. But what happens is when you put the carpet back in, you're going to want to push those down through this hole in the carpet because it helps kind of hold it in place. And basically it's got 2 clips on the side that push out, so what you can do, so now we're at that moment you've been waiting for. We've gotten everything out. You can finally take your carpet out so you can clean it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to start lifting it up around, because if somebody has spilt like a pop or Kool-Aid or something, it's possible that it's going to be stuck to the floor. So what I want to do is just start kind of lifting it up a bit here and there, especially around these for your stow-and-go seating. And this here is nice and loose, so nobody spilt anything. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Now you have a few of these little bolts here along where your stow-and-goes, where the carpet goes over it. And once again, I'm just going to kind of lift, and then up front as I lift, I'm going to start pulling backwards a bit. And this is all coming out really nice. This is going to be real good. Let me move over to the other side. And this is coming out real good. We have nothing sticky in here, and that's great. Normally there's always something sticky that's going to cause an issue. No need to force anything, just take your time. There, it's stuck on one of those bolts for the stow-and-go. There we go. Now what I'll do, once I get it out this far and it's loose, is I'm going to take the front and I'm going to fold it back over onto the back side, and then I'm just going to kind of lift up and then fold it over again, and that way it makes it easy for me to kind of take it, and I can just slide it here right out the side, and I can go set it out there on the driveway and get it pressure washed. I thought I would stop here for a moment and give you an idea of some of the smaller parts that we'll see here. This piece here was kind of the trim piece that was in the back by our third row. These here were our center columns that go between the front doors and the side doors. This piece right over here was the one that was up top in the back there. Then we have our bottom sill. These here were our speakers for the back. These here were the trim pieces right above the sliding rear doors, right behind them. And then these here were our door sill plates, and then our kick panels, our spare tire jack cover. This here went below our accelerator pedal. And then we have our two panels for our switches on our door panels. Let's see here, down here we have, this here was the piece that goes in between the two Stow-n-go seats that I showed you. So I just wanted to give you an idea. Now, to be honest with you, what's going to happen with these is I don't pressure wash these. They end up, and I get in trouble for this a lot, but these are going to end up going in the house. And what I do is I will fill up a bathtub, one of our spare bathrooms. We have a full-size spare bath, and I'll fill up the bathtub with hot water. And what I'll do, and I get these at the dollar store, but I will put a bunch of liquid Dawn in there and let them soak for about 20 minutes, because that way if you have anything sticky or greasy or sometimes that built-in grime in that, it just gives it a chance to soak and loosen it up so we can take it out. So anyway, so I'll put some of my soap in there, and then I do this enough, I've learned to kind of get some things to make life easier. I bought one of these circular brushes that mounts onto my drill, and I used to use it on my 18-volt rigid, but now I use it on my 12-volt Milwaukee just because it's lighter, it's easier on my arm. Now the white brush is a soft bristle brush. This one here, and you can tell it's been used a bit, is more of a yellow. It was a bright yellow when it was new, and it's a stiffer bristle brush, and so if I have something where it doesn't really want to come off, then I'll switch to that one. And then over here I have these two, and these are just basically a stainless hand brush, and they're going to be really stiff. And most of the time something like that you have to use on like these door sill plates, because they get really stained, and a lot of times that's not going to come out. But if you switch over to these kind of a brush, then you should be able to get the stains out of these kind of plates. So now these are going to go inside, and these are going to go start soaking in the bathtub. So now it's time to clean the headliner in this thing, and to do that I have my soft circular brush attached to my cordless drill, and that way it makes the job much easier, and I'll go over the entire thing. To clean it, I have my squirt bottle here, and I just filled it up with some water, and then I put 2.5 tablespoons of some liquid Dawn detergent that's like this. You get this at the dollar store, and then I use this to spray on, then hit it with my brush, and then when I'm done with all that, then I'll go back over with my wet dry vac and then extract any of the moisture that's left in the headliner, and then I can move on. So let's get that started. So now we're down to just getting the dash part cleaned on this thing, and this is the part that's going to have the most detail involved in it, so you want to do a really good job. Plus this is what you see the most. So what I do is I start with the steering wheel and then work my way back. And what you want to do is clean the outside of the steering wheel, because you don't want to clean behind it in your instrument panel and that, and then when you clean your steering wheel you get overspray and stuff goes onto that. So start with your steering wheel and then do the top of your dash and then work your way down. Now what I like to do is really clean the steering wheel. Nothing's worse than getting into a car and the steering wheel's all grimy and slimy and greasy and sticky and all that. So I'll clean both the front side and I'll clean the back side as well. And a quick tip with that's funny is, you know, it can be a pain because your steering wheel locks or it doesn't want to move because the car's not working. What you can do is start the car up and then you can work from like this side over here where you have plenty of access to it, and that way as you're working you can turn the steering wheel and you can clean everything over here and wipe it down. Then when you're done, put it back on center like it is here and shut the car off, but it makes the job go a lot easier. So some of the things I'm using for this today, I have once again my soft bristle circular brush on my drill to get the bigger areas. I have a smaller detail brush to get into smaller things, and then I have a bigger brush here that I want to maybe hit some bigger areas, and that's what this here will do. I have my Dawn once again. The biggest thing that really helps you when you're doing something like this and you want to get in all the nooks and crannies and get all the dust and the dirt and things like that out is compressed air. This here will make the job go way better. Also, as you clean, you don't want to leave a lot of water in your control, so this will blow any of that cleaning fluid out, and that way you don't have any issues with your electronics. And then last but not least, because I just hate the sound of all the compressed air, is I just have some hearing protection. So I'm going to do this in like a time lapse, so you can just see me do it real quick hopefully, and let's get this dash cleaned up. So I finally got everything out of this thing. Everything's been cleaned, the headliner, the windshield, all the windows, all of our buckles have been cleaned, the carpets are cleaned, all the panels, everything is done. And so now we're ready to actually put everything back into the van. And rather than do kind of the same thing I did, taking everything out, I don't think y'all want to watch another 45 minutes of me putting everything back into the van. I think at this point what I'm going to do is going to be a time-lapse video. I may break it into 2 or 3 different sections for you, where I'm going to put it together in pieces, and that way you can kind of see how it all goes back together. But you know, we've all heard the old adage of, you know, installation is reverse of removal, and that really is the case with what we're going to be doing here. One of the things I'll tell you is when you're putting all these panels back in the trim pieces and things of that nature, if you have a hard time remembering where they are, one, you can come back to this video and take a look and see where things went. But number 2, look on the back side of these panels and the trim pieces. Look for either a label or something actually in the plastic itself that says like LH or RH. That'll tell you if it's a left hand or right hand side on there, and that way it'll help you and guide you along with it. So if you have any questions on how things go back together here, please feel free to post those down below and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Other than that, let's get our time lapse started. But before I do, actually, I have everything laid out here in the drive, and I'm going to do a walkthrough with you real quick just so you can see the amount of stuff we have here and what all we have to put in. I'm going to try and mount my camera up onto the windshield somehow and have it kind of aimed back, so quite frankly you may not see every little thing, but it should give you a good overall view of what's going to happen here to get this job done. So first let's walk through, see what we have out here, and then let's get started putting this thing back together. This here is just the general view of our parts laid out. You see I have the van carpet here, we have our cargo area carpet, and then no real set thing. They're just kind of set in place in a way generally how they'll go back in. We have our dash pads up on top of here. We have our front door panels, our center console, our pillar covers along with our door sills. When we move along here, this here is our frame that went around where our Stow-n-go is, and then our carpets for our Stow-n-go, and then the covers for those. And then we have our sliding door panels. We have our rear quarter panels that go in the back. And then we have our 2 panels that go in the very back end along with the rear door seal plate. But I just wanted to give you an idea. And this is all the parts that we got to put back in here real quick. And this shouldn't be a problem. We should get this done in a relatively short period of time. This looks like a lot of parts, but when you've done this as many times as I have, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. We should be able to get it done pretty quick. Well, I guess that's a wrap. As you can see, we got everything put back inside the van here, and I'll tell you what, it looks awesome. This van hasn't been this clean since the day it came off the showroom floor. So this video, you know, maybe you can use different sections of it if you're trying to get to something in your van and you need to work on it and you want to know how to take it out. Maybe it helps you there. But if you have a van right now, and rather than going out and spending a ton of money to get a new van, you'd rather revamp the van you got and make it look new again, then I'll tell you what, this video has been for you. And if you follow my step-by-step instructions and clean it like this, your van will look just like it too. This van looks brand new inside. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I tried to go through, give you some step-by-step. I think I mentioned earlier, you know, doing the installation is just gonna be reverse of removal. And so if you have any questions, maybe I didn't cover those at the end because I did the faster video so you could just see it all come back together. But if you have any questions on how to put something back in or where something goes, post those down below and I'll get to them as quick as I can for you. If this has been something that's been helpful for you, please just do me a favor, hit that like button for me. And if you want to see more videos, I do videos on these vans. I do a lot of these vans. I do a lot of other cars. I even got some mini bikes and go-kart videos. We're going to be doing all sorts of different things here on Javo's Garage. So if you'd like to see more of those, hit that subscribe button. I hope this has been helpful to you. I wish you good luck on your project. I hope this works out for you. Thanks for watching.